So I want to talk to you about chapter 1 of The Richest Man in Babylon. So you have these two friends. One's name is Banser, he's a chariot builder, and one name is Kobe, he's a musician. They both live in Babylon. And Kobe comes to Banser's house, and they get to talking about Kobe kind of jokes Banser and says, "Hey man, you sitting here taking a break. Like life must be great for you. Like I'm so happy for you that you were able to take a break and that your financial life is so good that you don't have to work." And he says, "Man, I would love to share in your wealth with you. Can you let me borrow 2 shekels?" And that was a form of money back then. And Banser says, "Well, I don't have 2 shekels to let you borrow." And Kobe, surprised, says, "Man, as hard as you work, you wouldn't even have 2 shekels for me to borrow?" And Banser says, "No, if I were to let you borrow, I don't even have 2 shekels for you to borrow. And if I did, that would be everything I had." And so they began talking about this, and both of them admitted that they both didn't have anything to show for the hard work that they have done. They're both really good at their doing. Banser was a chariot builder. Kobe was a musician, but they were both scraping by. Both their families would work every week and barely be able to afford to live life like with the basic necessities of food, shelter, things like that, as hard as they were working. So basically, they get to talking about, what can they do to improve upon their life, to have the finer things in life: gold, silver, the fine clothes, take nice vacations with their family, have the finest foods. And why don't they have that now when they're already working hard? And so here are some main points that I pulled up from the chapter also. Both Banser and Kobe both have good income, and they have skills, but they're barely both scraping by. And in the chapter, it talks about how now that they have kids, their kids are living that lifestyle also. So they taught that kind of lifestyle of working, making an income, barely surviving, getting another check, working, living check to check, basically. So they pass that down to their children. Both of them desire to have a larger purse or finer things in life. They want to have an income that has a steady flow, no matter whether they are working or not, no matter they're on vacation or they're working. They want an income that will still be making money for them. So in their conversation, they bring up their old friend Arcad, and they find out that they bring up the fact that Arcad is enjoying the finer things in life. And they're wondering why he was able to obtain those things when they all kind of started off together at the same point. What did he do differently than what they were doing? And they said that Arcad, he has money that comes in if he work or rests. He has the finer things in life no matter what he does. And so Arcad, they noticed too that Arcad also passed on these secrets to his children because his children were enjoying the same thing. They said even the king of Babylon would come and ask Arcad for advice. So Kobe and Banser both desire to have what Arcad has. So they decide to, because he was one of their old friends, and they desire to go ask Arcad, "Can you show us the way?" So they go to ask Arcad for his help, advice. And they said, "We'll also invite our other friends who also are struggling kind of the way we are, who just work check to check, basically." So here are some other points that I wrote down in the chapter that I noticed were in there. It says, it costs nothing to ask wise people for advice. Number 2, do not wish to continue life going through life, working. So the two of them, Banser and Kobe, did not wish to continue going through life, working, and then only having enough to scrape by. 3, Arcad, their friend that they were talking about that was wealthy and living the good life that they thought was the good life, had an income that kept his purse full no matter whether he was sitting or working, whether he was on vacation, whether he was sleeping. They wanted to figure that out. In the chapter, it says, now that you're thinking about wealth and your finances, you have to actively seek wealth. You have to actively seek it. They talked about sharing your knowledge because Banser and Kobe kind of passed down what they knew about finances to their children. Their children were still living in the same path. Arcod, who was living what they saw as the good life, had passed that down to his children. Question they asked: why work your whole life and have nothing really to show for it? And how do you become a person of means? So this is chapter 1. Like we said, the two friends were talking. They were wondering about how they were going to change their life into a life of living the finer things and not just scraping by. And they were going to go visit their friend Arcod, who was considered one of the richest people in Babylon. And even the king of Babylon came to him for help. So they were going to go and actively ask him, could he show them the way and the pathway to what he's achieved in life. So that's chapter 1 of The Richest Man in Babylon. Thank you.